The Miracle Perspective, showing you the person you are meant to be. It's finished.
It's the time of the day. Please don't be late. Call your friends, I'll call my friends. Let's go and be changed. TMP is doing the most. TMP is doing the most. It's the time of the day. Please don't be late. Call your friends, I'll call my friends.
So in 2015, I was doing my final year at the University of Pretoria. That was my first final year. And I'm saying first final year because towards the end of the year that year, I was worried. What am I going to do with my life next year? Been applying for jobs and I haven't heard any response at that time. And when I look into honors, I was not qualifying for honors because you needed at least an average of 65%. When I look at my marks, I was not cutting it. I was worried, big time. And with the help of my friend, Brian, we thought about this thing. Like, hey, how can you make it happen? How can you make it work? And that's when I decided, you know what? Let me fail 1 or 2 modules. I think I failed 1 module. I failed 1 module so that I can come back next year in 2016. Added 1 more year to my whole academic life. And I was like, the plan is, in 2016, I'm going to add 2 more modules, those easy modules that I passed fairly well and easily. I'm just going to repeat those modules so that I can increase my average mark, so I can qualify for honors at least. Because the goal is not to go back at home. That was a great plan. I did just that. Now in 2016, I was repeating my final year. And the plan worked well. Towards the end of the year, I was making the average of 65. And I could apply for my honors while still applying for jobs because everybody else was applying for jobs. I thought, hey, since everybody's applying for jobs, let me also apply for jobs. So the pressure is too much at that time. If you're a final year, you've got so much pressure because you are scared of what's going to come next year. So you just want to make sure that you know what is going to happen with you in the next year before you finish the year. And that was the plan with me. So as I was applying for jobs, I applied for honors. And I made it to honors. Now in my honors year, before that year ended, the 2016 year, final year, I got a part-time job working for an insurance company as a telesales consultant. I was the person calling clients, hey, buy the insurance, buy the insurance. And that's where I learned the art of selling. That's where my love and hate relationship with sales came about. Because that job wasn't easy. If you've ever been anywhere in sales, you will know that calling people, cold calling clients is not easy. It was the worst enemy. But I did well in it. When I started, I did well. So, 2016, I got the job towards the end of the year. And I passed and I graduated in 2017. Now I was doing my honors. My father was so happy that I graduated. I made him proud. So he got me this car. The problem with this car was that this car was an accident car. So I had to fix it, right? Because I was working, I was able to fix the car. Fix the suspension, fix many things in the car and just make it well, right? But the problem was that the car was a French car. You see, man. I don't like French cars anymore because that car showed me flames, man. That car was just problematic. It finished all my money. The money I was working for, it was 2 jobs, by the way. I was working for a non-profit organization, but I was working for it and then I was getting paid every month together with the telesales job that I was doing at the insurance company. So I had 2 jobs at that time. All my money ended on the car. And my friend Brian asked for me to teach him how to drive. I'm like, no problem, let's go. I started teaching him how to drive. 1, 2 lessons, but hey, every time he makes a mistake, my heart was painful, man, because this car is a problem. Fixing this car is hard and it's expensive. So I decided to stop teaching him. And this guy's like, you should consider this driving school thing because you're quite good in teaching people. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna see. And my relationship with the car didn't go too far and it had to go away. My father helped me get the second car, the one I have right now. It was a Toyota. Same thing I had to do. I had to fix it here and there and just make it well. I fixed it, and now I lost my job at the non-profit organization. Later on, I was fired from the insurance company. Now I did not have a job. I was just a student. I was broke. And this car had to be serviced. I got worried. Got frustrated because I have to pour petrol into this car. I've got to service this car. What do I do? And I was like, you know what? This car is a problem. What is it doing for me other than taking away my money? And I was like, no, it's time this car starts feeding itself. And that's when I took the idea of driving lessons seriously. I remember I was so broke, very broke, super broke. And I went to my friend Brian. I'm like, boy, I think I'm ready for that driving school idea. He's like, come on, let's do it. Downloaded an app on the phone, created I created a poster. Poster maker, created the poster, did everything myself. I'm like, how's this? He's like, good, post it. I made it 100 Rand per lesson at the time, 100 Rand per hour to teach people how to drive. I took that poster, posted it in all the groups I was part of, all the groups. Posted. I remember it was during that time of women trafficking and whatnot. So the situation was tense. There was a group of ladies only where they would look out for each other. I was part of that group. How I got in there, I don't remember, but I was part of that group. I posted everything there in the groups, all of the groups. I was part of many groups at that time. In no time, many people were contacting me. They're like, hey, I want to do driving lessons. The second day, I already had about 3 clients. I was so happy. Started teaching people how to drive. The business became bigger and bigger and bigger. Now the car was servicing itself. The car was fueling itself. And I was like, wow, this thing works, right? Doing my honors year. And the whole year, I was doing that driving school business. And when the year ended, I stopped with the driving school business. That's when, I was still going on with the driving school business, yes. The year ended, I graduated again. Now I was going into masters. At the end of that year, going into my masters, I sat down with my parents. I'm like, parents, thank you so much for pushing me thus far. You've helped me, you've supported me. I think this is time for me to now take care of myself. I think I can be a responsible man. I mean, you've supported me up to this time, so I can be responsible. They were like, what? What's your plan? I'm like, don't have a plan, but I think you gave me a head start, so I'll survive. Still gonna go back to school, but I'll survive. They're like, okay, cool, thanks. They wouldn't say no to that. And I went on, got into masters, and did my driving school, but slowly. And I got a job at the environmental consultancy, media, 2018. Was it 2018? No, I'm lying, man. 2018, I was full-time into masters, and I did my masters, and every now and then my business one was now, it was going, but it was dying, you see? And I didn't finish off the year with my business, and I went into last year, 2020. And that's when I got my job at the environmental consultancy. And I neglected my business. Now I'm fully focused as an employee. And push came to shove, I left that employment during COVID times. I thought I was smart, I thought I had this thing under control. And now, in 3 months down the line, I think it was around August, I left my employment end of May. June, July, August. Now I'm suffering. The rental bills went high. Everything went high. I remember I missed a month without paying my rent. I missed 2 months without paying my rent. Now I was getting eviction letters. I'm like, but it's COVID times. How do you evict us? And I knew I wasn't going to get out. I wasn't going to get evicted because the law didn't allow that. But The agency did not write off that debt. I had to pay it off. So I had this massive double month rent that I had to pay. My life was a mess now at that time. But I wasn't ready to go back at home and be like, hey, I'm suffering now. Why? Because they warned me about leaving my job, and I did. So at that time, my life was a mess. I remember I kept producing videos, acting like everything is fine, but I'm burning at that time. I remember I saw this poster from Take a Lot this one time. Take a Lot was looking for drivers with cars. I went and applied at Take a Lot. They called me in for an interview. When I got there, they're like, we're looking for full-time only. I wanted part-time because I'm building my business on the side. So I wanted part-time. They're like, nah, we don't have part-time. I'm like, shucks. And when I check the payroll thing, pay sheet, I was like, nah, this was going to be a waste of my time either way. I remember it was so hot that day. I went back home disappointed, and I sat in the parking lot. I slept in the car. Very depressed, super depressed. I slept in the car. And I remember when I woke up in the car, I was sweating, bruh, because it was hot, and I closed all the windows. And I was worried, what am I going to do with my life? Because my creative mind was dead. I think that was the thing that happened with my employment. I killed my creative mind. My employment made me comfortable in getting paid, not being innovative, not going out, not being the hustler that I've always been. And now in my sleep, I woke up, I'm like, you know what? There was a time in my life where I was broke and I survived. What was I doing? I'm like, it is that driving school business. I'm like, you know what? Immediately I took my phone out, I created a poster. That evening, pushed it out on my WhatsApp status. Pushed it out. Before the end of the evening, people were now talking to me. They were like, hey, I want to drive. Teach me how to drive. And that's when my business restarted. The second day, I was having clients already. And that's when I was like, this is my business for life. And I met Mr. Dongo. That was about the time I met Mr. Dongo. Mr. M. Dongo took my business from that small thinking mentality I had, because I had so much limited beliefs. I had limited my mind because I was making this business just a savior kind of business, saying, I just want to survive in the meantime. And when I'm fine on the other businesses, I'm going to let this go. Mr. Dongo came and rang the bell in my head. Like, my man, this should be your main business. And it boomed. From there on, now I came into systems. Everything now became in order. I set it up, and now it became a real business that I am happy to call a business today. Since that time last year, August, September, when I restarted my business, my driving school business, to date, I think I've had more than 15 to 20 clients that I've taught, successfully taught. And I'm so proud of myself because of that. Through that business, I've managed to survive. I've managed to pay my rentals. I've managed to finish off the debt I had. I managed to survive. Every month I'm surviving, and I'm well off because of that business. It's this business that's funding all my other businesses. But it's not really about me at the end of the day. What I realized is that one of my passions and my true callings is teaching. Because every person that sits in the car with me, when they leave that car, they leave refreshed, renewed, and it's like they've received an experience of their lifetime. And that's when I saw that it's not really about the skill that I'm transferring to these people. It is also the feeling and the experience that they get for learning how to drive. To date, since I started in 2017, when I was still part-time student, when I was still doing it part-time as I was a student, I think I've taught more than 50 people, successfully so. And I'm proud to say, I have not had any one failure in all the people that I've tested through me. And the lesson out of this is to never be comfortable wherever you are. I almost got I almost lost my creativity because I was comfortable. I almost lost this ability and the fulfillment that I get from teaching people because I was comfortable. I was comfortable being employed, earning a salary. And now this drive that I have teaching people has given me extra creativity, and it gives me that extra fulfillment. I feel like I'm living a purposeful life because I'm imparting knowledge, tangible knowledge. And I realize that indeed, if you are doing something that changes people's life, you live a life of meaning. And my challenge to you today, ladies and gents, is what is it that you are passionate about? And what is it that you can do? What is it that you have in your hands that you can use to share with other people? I had to look around me. I was like, what do I have? And I realized I have a car. Why don't I share what I know, the experience, the abilities with the people that need it? Mind you, a license is one of the prerequisites of getting a job in South Africa. It's a pre-requirement of getting a job. So this, what I'm doing, it's very essential to anybody, whether you are in school, whether you're working, you want to go to another job, you see license required. So I am happy that I'm partaking in changing people's lives positively. And I'm happy that today I am doing it actively so. So this is my invitation to you, ladies and gents. Look around you. The business you're looking for is not far from you. You don't need funding. Didn't start with funding for my business. Yeah, you had a car. I did have a car. What do you have? What do you have? The point is, look around you. What do you have? What skill do you have? Can you speak? Can you cook? Can you bake? Why don't you make something out of that? Perhaps one day you could be standing and be like me and be like, you know what? I started a business out of desperation, and today I'm helping people and I'm happy with that business. And by the way, if you're anywhere around Pretoria, Gauteng, and you want to learn how to drive from one of the best teachers on the planet, do the most. Contact me. Contact me through Facebook. Go to TMP Driving Lessons. You will get yourself that driving lesson that you have never gotten anywhere. Funny enough, here's an interesting fact that I've discovered in my journey, is that many of the people that go to driving schools, they are taught how to test for the driving test. They are not taught how to drive. So there's many people out there who have licenses but cannot really drive. And my approach to my driving lessons is that I teach you how to drive and prepare you for your test later. That's why it's a guarantee that when you come to my driving lessons, you will go out as a driver, taking you from walking to driving. But at the end of the day, ladies and gents, this was to inspire you, to look around you, be resourceful, use what you have. Your success is not outside of you, it's within you. You just need to open your eyes, take the responsibility, and become resourceful. From me to you, this is the Miracle Perspective, where we are showing you the person you are meant to be. If you are interested in becoming a better speaker, in building your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-value, you want to improve in your personal and professional life, you want to know how to negotiate your value with your employees, your clients, you want to send proposals, you want to be able to speak and articulate yourself well, check us out on the TMP Academy down below. Click there, let me see you on the TMP Academy. And I'm going to help you become the person you are meant to be. It's finished.
The Miracle Perspective, showing you the person you are meant to be. It's finished.